to creating sci-fi and fantasy, an inside look. A podcast dedicated to understanding the inspiration and creation of sci-fi, fantasy, and comic books. Hi, today's podcast interview is with Royce Essig, who has spent 25 years developing a sci-fi film called Dark Operations Terminus. It was inspired way back from, he and his friends wanted to do a Star Trek inspired fan film, and it morphed into its own kind of sci-fi drama. It uses virtual reality to help create elements of the film, and he talks about that using two different technologies. I hope you enjoy. Thanks. What would your title would be? Game developer?
Well, actually, what we're doing is we're doing an independent miniseries, sci-fi miniseries.
Okay.
I'm the co-creator of that. I'm currently the executive producer of the project itself.
Okay.
I have a lot of different titles, but that's the title I'm at today, is executive producer for today.
Okay. All right. I'm here at Farpoint 2018 with Royce Essig, executive producer of Dark Operations Terminus.
Yes.
Thank you for speaking with me.
Oh, not a problem.
I'd like to start by asking you about this project.
Well, this project has been a 25-year dream of mine. About 10 years ago, we released our first DVD. It was an hour, 45-minute film, which we had never done before. And now, 10 years later, we're coming back and we're telling the end of our story, so we can all move on to other projects.
Okay. And so it's a science fiction...
Yeah, science fiction. We're calling it a 3-part sci-fi drama.
Okay.
Is what we're currently working on with the Terminus, because it will be 3 individual parts that make up the entire story.
Okay. So how are you going to know when this project is finished?
When it comes out of my editor, to be totally honest. The goal is by next year we will hopefully premiere it by next fall. We are 80% complete with our live action filming up in the Harrisburg, Pennsylvania area. It's going to be worked on during the summer for editing for that, plus the final filming that we have to do. But the goal is by next fall to have it ready for release.
So tell me about the virtual reality aspect to this.
Well, I have to thank, and I've got to give him a plug here, Anthony of NextGenImaging.com is our main video guy. He's our main CGI guy. He has been nice enough to bring 2 different technologies with us here at the show. One is the Oculus Rift, which really puts you into the VR world. You wear the goggles, you have the earphones, you can hear it all. The other technology that I really like that he has is what we call the Microsoft HoloLens technology. And what that does is basically you put these giant glasses on, but you're able to see around you. You can still see the area around you, and it projects a holographic image right in the middle of the room. So if you wanted to look at a 3D model and you don't have it printed, you can actually walk underneath the ship, look at the ship. And what we have found now is with this technology, we found out we can actually record with it. So now when the director and I start working on the CGI battle scenes with the ships, we can actually walk past the model. He can record that and then bring that into the game engine that we're actually using. Because we're not using Lightwave, we're not using that. He came up with a great idea to use a game engine to do all of our CGI, which hasn't been done before, so that's really cool. But it all happens in live time. So when we say, okay, Anthony, I need the ship to go to the left, he's like, okay, whoop, there it is. Cool. It's done. It's just with the camera.
So what inspires you?
What inspires me? With this project, it's sheer madness. I mean, to track down or to chase anything down for 25 years, you've got to be a little crazy, and I'm definitely crazy.
A little.
It's obsessive, yeah, just a small bit. But what inspires me actually with Terminus, the reason we're doing it is it's going to be in memoriam to several cast members we've lost. But the reason I did Terminus, the basic story for the Captain McGregor character, the character that I play, is how we treat our military when they come back. What we've asked them to do, and then we say, okay, we want you to go out, we want you to kill, we want you to do this, we want you to maim. Oh, and by the way, when you come home, be normal. and we're not going to help you. I have a very big problem with that because I'm a military brat to begin with. But the reason I'm doing Terminus is for a good friend of mine who passed away in Iraq, Major Wes Hinckley. I hate saying it, had we not lost Wes, I probably would not have gone back into this world. But it's dedicated to him, and that's the reason I'm doing it. So if you ask me my motivation, that's it. Okay. It's for my best friend.
Yeah, no, I understand. I get that. What is the most important tool you use in your workspace?
For me personally, because I do the editing, I use what used to be known as Sony Vegas. It's now Magic Vegas is what I guess the latest company is calling it. That's the editing software I use. I do not use Premiere. I don't use that. And it's just basically because I haven't had the time to learn it myself. We're all self-taught, so the way you find out is you take video, you go in, you start playing with it, and if you can do it, great. You know? So for me personally, it's Vegas. That's what I use at home.
Okay. Is there something special you need in your workspace to get your work done?
Believe it or not, I need music. I am a child of the 80s, so I grew up with the Muppets. We do things by music. You know, there's got to be music on in the background, stuff on the background. My wife does not understand how I can sit there and be totally into what I'm editing, and there's two different TVs playing in the background, completely different things. I said, it actually does help me focus, because with my ADD and ADHD, I can't focus if it's too quiet. That does not work for me.
Is there an element of this production work that you enjoy most, and why?
I'm going to say yes to that. Originally it was, well, I wanted to be the actor, I wanted to do that stuff. And I will say that the production end of this, like the behind-the-scenes camera stuff, learning how to direct, definitely learning how to edit, has become a love of mine. I love telling a story. There was a gentleman a couple of years at a con I was at who said stories, films in particular, are told by three different people. It's a combination of all three people: the writer, the director, and then the editor always gives it the heart. Because if you see an editor who's really messing something up, it can totally destroy the story that was originally put out there by the creator or the writer. So that's one of those things. Personally, I like the editing because you get to see the story come together.
How did you start doing this?
How did I start doing this? Well, a long time ago, 25 years. It was a group of friends who were in a sci-fi club at the time, and we got the great idea of, why don't we do a fan film before fan films were big? I mean, this is 25 years ago. Right. The fan film that we wanted to do was not really looked on with the respect it was here recently. Right now, they've gone through a lot of changes because, you know, the owners are starting to clamp down on creative control. Right. The long story of it is, we just wanted to do a film. We were going to shoot it with VHS cameras. Right. Had no idea how we were going to edit it. We were just going to film it. Why not? We can film it. We can do anything we want to do. And then we realized, oh, Lord, we actually need somebody who knows how to do this. We need a good camera guy. We need good cameras. We need good equipment. And that just led into this. And now, 25 years later, we have the tools, we have the technology to actually do this professionally. This is our hobby, but the paying gigs I do get for my video work, a lot of the money goes back into this stuff for this. What do we need next? Anthony is really good, like I said, with giving us all the latest technology. His 3D printers, this. I love it. It's great.
What role does the film production have in society?
Film can be used as either a mirror to society, or it can used to be taught, or it can be used as a teaching tool. We prefer with ours to be a teaching tool. American TV is so different from everybody else in the world. Americans, you've got to be a size 3 guy, a size -2 girl in order to be on screen because, oh, you're fat, you're this, you're that. No. Some of the best people I've worked with, acting-wise, voice-wise, are people you would never suspect have that true sound. A good example of this, and one of the reasons I really love the current film that's out, The Greatest Showman, is they break that typical Hollywood mold. You know, you never know what somebody's going to sound like. You never know what they're going to look like. That's why I kind of like the voice at the beginning where you don't see them. I wish they'd keep that all the way through until the very end. They pull it back and there is some pasty bearded woman. That's what I want to see on the voice. You know, they don't know who she is or what she looks like until they pull that curtain back and you realize, wow, all your misconceptions about how you judge are wrong.
Right.
So,
what works in film production inspire you?
What works? As I said, Greatest Showman right now is one of the best films I've ever seen, visually, cast-wise. What inspired me to do this? All right, I'm a Trekkie. Okay. Let's just call it what it is. You know, I grew up luckily in the late 70s, early 80s, so I had Star Wars, I had Battlestar Galactica, I had Space Battleship Yamato, that was my first love. Being a geek like that in that time, okay, not geek, nerd, let's call it what it is. You know, it was hard to grow up that way, but the one thing I found was when I started to actually go to cons, I found a group of people who were just like me, who didn't care what you did. They're some of the nicest people you'd ever meet, and they get judged so badly. Yeah, and it's really wrong.
Yeah, it's changing. I think.
Oh yeah, yeah,
better.
Yeah. Now they want the geek.
Yeah, now they want the geek.
Now they want the geek.
Okay, what apart from what you just mentioned, are there other movies, books, music, or other creative media in sci-fi or fantasy that have inspired you?
When music-wise, the stuff by John, of course everybody loves John Williams, who wouldn't love Star Wars? James Horner's work that he's done. Right. And what's funny is if you listen back to certain pieces, especially in the 80s, there's two films that come to mind when you listen to just the soundtracks, because I love just listening to the music. If you've ever listened to the score from Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, and a little-known film, Battle Beyond the Stars with John Boy Walton. Yeah. If you listen to those two soundtracks side by side, they're almost identical. You can tell where he learned from this one and pulled it into this one at the time. Yeah. And it was just one of those things. The one day I just happened to listen to it. I love instrumental music. I love stuff that music can give a scene a very different feel to it. Right. So that's what inspires me. It's instrumental music is what I listen to a lot.
All right. Is there a superpower or advanced technology that you wanted when you were young, and what was it?
Superpower, advanced technology. I wanted to fly. Yeah. And here again, I'm not talking, cape, the leotard spandex. No. I'm talking like planes, jets, stuff like that. So anything that can fly inspired me when I was a kid. I wanted the jet. I wanted to be a fighter pilot. I wanted to be all that. And, NASA astronaut. And of course, all that fades with time. Yeah. Given the chance, would I hop in a jet? In a heartbeat. Yeah.
Any final thoughts or words?
Just if you want to check out our project, you can find us on Facebook. We actually don't have a website set up for this right now. It's just mainly because we do everything on zero to no budget. But if you go to Facebook /Dark Operations, you'll find us there. And we try to do updates whenever we can. When we really get into filming, you'll see updates live from the set, usually at the end of the day, and we all look terrible, and we're all sweaty, and we're all nasty. But that's when we do it. We're really big on making sure all of our cast and crew get thanked. And just personally, I want to thank them all for their some of them have been with me for the 25 to 27 years we've been doing this. Some have come on recently, but I could not have done it without any of them.
All right. Well, thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Please visit chrisalvarez.com for more cool stuff. You can also find my website and social media information in the podcast show notes. Thanks for listening, and keep imagining the future.